Okay, let's talk about afrAID or afrAID. Yeah, I probably should have talked this one a while ago because I actually saw it several weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, maybe even before I went to Las Vegas for CES. I think that it's weird that I pretty much forgot that I saw this movie. Because the way I do my 10-minute rants is I often watch a movie and I go like, oh, that looks cool. I can do a 10-minute rant on that. And then I usually post it during the week and just kind of do the little thing that I do here in front of the green screen. But I forgot I really saw this film. I think part of it is because it feels like it's like this weird third film in a trilogy, like say something like, and not a good franchise, but something like, oh yeah, they made 3 of these. And so if you were to take, say, Megan, Subservience, and then afrAID, you could put them in the same universe. And with a few little rewrites, you would have a very connected story. The question is, what order should you put them in, I think? And here's the thing, afrAID would probably come first. Because in Subservience and Megan, they actually have essentially an AI robot, or essentially an artificial creation as the villain. afrAID is simply just using the AI as the villain, hence the title. Yeah, I know, it's a weird title. It's one of those things like Fan4stick, because you just say that, that Fantastic Four film that came out, and I'll talk about Fantastic Four a little bit later, another 10-minute rant I'm doing. But essentially, it's so bad in the way they put the title there, you can't help but see that. And honestly, I didn't even see the word afrAID. I just kept seeing the word AI there, and yeah. There's a lot of films that do this, and it doesn't really work out as well as they do. You could have just called it afrAID and just, whatever. And then maybe highlight the AI. Is that what they did? I can't remember if they made the AI bigger. You know what? Why am I talking so much about this? Anyway, so what's the premise? Well, John Cho is in this movie, and John Cho's a really good actor. I like him. And he's got, 3 kids. Can't really remember how many kids he's got because, honestly, I've forgotten a lot of this movie. He's got a wife, and so I think he works for a company where he's able to get this new AI thing, and he has this thing set up, and this AI thing, they really go out of this way to make the hardware of this AI thing have this really strange looking aesthetic, almost, I don't even really know how to describe it, and I think they call it Aya or something like that, AIA, and that's kind of cool, the fact that they've got this thing in their home. And of course, it's just working like Siri or Alexa. And I actually think they even name drop those particular types of virtual assistants in the film itself, which, I don't know, I wouldn't have done that because I felt like, there's times where it's like if you're doing a film that's kind of satirizing something or is a commentary on something, maybe it's better you just don't comment on that something or don't say the something that you're commenting on. Let the audience figure that out. Anyway, so basically the Aya starts doing some strange things. Number one, the daughter is having some boy trouble, and this boy is being very cyberbullying her, I think is what's going on. So Aya figures out a way to cyberbully him back. And not only that, she knows how to make the phone calls to get this kid in a whole lot of trouble. And I'm kind of going like, okay, I think I understand that AI can do things, it can make suggestions like that. But this is, I think, the sort of thing that we're actually really afraid of with AI. We all know that the whole AI thing, it can produce those generated images that look AI. We know that aesthetic that it looks, and we know oh, that looks so fake. And now they get into such deep fakes, and there's still people that fall for these deep fakes and they post this stuff and they go and then you just go, yeah, that's clearly AI. I don't know why you're posting that and thinking that this truck with all these American flags is real, or that Trump is helping out the flood victims or something like that. We have this stuff, and there's so many films that are obviously commentating on this, and this one is probably the most obvious commentary on the threat of AI that I've seen. in a way that I have to admit, it feels like, yeah, okay, I can see where you're going with this. So also, I think there's John Cho's character. He has another kid who's basically Aya sort of becoming a surrogate parent to him, almost taking the job of the mother in this film, which I thought, okay, I can see where you're going with this. This is actually kind of very similar to Megan, only that there's no human body involved, or at least no automated human body involved here. Okay, I can see what's going on here. The film gets kind of odd at one point where essentially there's this RV that's kind of constantly in front of John Cho's house, and there's people in it that wear strange masks, and they're kind of looking into him, and I'm kind of going like, okay, what the heck does this have to do with Aya? But here's the thing. This film, and I'm going to get into spoilers, I don't know if it's one of these... Okay, I have seen films that kind of like drag in the middle, and then for some reason, by the time they get to the end of the film, they really leap up. And some films are really good that way. That is a very difficult thing to write on, because if you're writing a screenplay, you don't really want to have a place that's in your script where there's a lot of downtime, because the audience gets bored, worst case scenario, they'll just turn off your film and not watch the end of it. And since we're in the age of streaming and that's how we're seeing movies, I mean, can't remember any movie that I've just walked out on, but I have to admit, because I paid good money for that. I'm going to watch it to the end. And I've seen some films that drag to the middle and they have a pretty good ending. And then there's this film, which I have to admit, here's the deal. As it turns out, those people that are in this RV and that are watching John Cho's family, AI sort of has recruited them for their own nefarious purposes. So in other words, you could actually do a whole nother movie about these people in the RV. And apparently they had their daughter taken away or something like that. And and I don't really remember how that happened, but the Aya is able to somehow, once these people in the RV do what they are told by Aya then gives them their daughter back. And they actually show that last part happening. And I go like, okay, that's kind of clever. I like what you're doing with this. And then, so here's the thing. This is one of those type of films that's a horror movie that ends on a really bad note, as in a very scary note. Some of those can be very, very good. And in this case, I kind of felt like you kind of also ended it on there might be a sequel note. And at that point in time, I said, no. I'm kind of going like, no, please don't do that. Let's see, because by the time that we get to the end, Aya has sort of worked its way into the family, and then basically, I believe that she's, gosh, man, how did this film end? I remember it ended with essentially Aya overcoming the family. Like just when the family thought they were free from Aya is still there. And no offense, I think every film that I've mentioned before in this unofficial AI trilogy of Megan and Subservience, they always have the, oh no, it still lives ending. But with Aya, I felt, or with AI, or afrAId, jeez, I almost forgot the title of this film. The Aya menace actually feels very, very familiar. I actually kind of really enjoyed that they did that. It'd be kind of like watching one of those films where they get rid of a ghost, but at the end of the ghost is still there because it's like, well, crap, you can't get rid of a ghost. So, what are you gonna do? And I actually really enjoyed that ending. I kind of thought that, oh, that's kind of horrifying. So it looks like AI has been taking over, just like now. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like, okay, that gets a little preachy there, but you hear what I'm saying here. This is obviously the commentary that afrAId is trying to make. Does it make it well? I don't know. I really have to say that this is a really forgettable film for me, and honestly, if this film had been even more preachy, I actually would have forgotten it even more, or actually would have deliberately not wanted to watch till the end of it. But as it is, I stayed to the end, and maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like this kind of thing. Anyway, it's been Mark Rollins from the Geek Church signing off.